What's up, giggly witches?
Yeah.
This is episode 43 slash season 2, episode 10.
We're here. We made
Wow.
it. Wow. Crowd goes wild.
It's wild.
I'm so excited for today because I love nerding out about the science behind magic, and we're covering the law of vibration. So we get to talk about like frequency and vibration and all of that good stuff. It's going to be so fun. One of my favorite topics. Um,
Yes.
but before we dive into that, we got to have a little catch up, a little silly, goofy time. So,
Little
Pam,
silly
what are
goofy.
you laughing about this week?
Okay, not really laughing,
Oh, okay.
but just a really
Crying.
cool, fun thing that we did. But my mom was just in town Thursday, Friday of last week. And here in St. Augustine, you know how they have like cat cafes, things like
Oh,
that,
yeah, yeah,
where there's like coffee and like you hang out with cats and stuff.
yeah.
Here, they have a capybara one.
No.
Yes.
No.
So we did that, and we hung out with the capybaras.
How did
It
I?
was so cool. If you're not
Oh,
watching, I haven't
wait, you have
posted it
to
on my
send me
story or
this.
anything. They're so cute.
Oh, I have chills. I have
If you're not
goosebumps.
watching, you should
Oh my
watch
God.
so that you can see
Oh,
this
look at the little
video.
faces.
They're really
Oh,
cute.
how
Their
they're
feet are
big.
kind of freaky. I can't remember how old she said these ones were, but they're really cute. Their names are like they were like latte, macchiato, and mocha because it's
They
like
live at a
coffee
coffee
cafe, you know?
shop.
But they're really, really cute. Um, Let me see
Oh my God.
if I can find another
This is
one here.
unbelievable.
It's just a photo of one.
Oh, relaxing.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was really, really fun. They're really cute. They're like kind of like wiry feeling.
Like
And
bristly?
they just like, yeah, yeah. Um, and I don't know if you saw it, but I sometimes I forget that I'm logged into the Giggly Witches YouTube. So when I search for things, it comes up, and then Sadie's like, "What are you looking for in here?" But
I do. Whenever I go to
the
post shorts,
lady,
it'll like have like recently watched or whatever, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's the most random stuff.
um,
Very wholesome.
so rare because it's really seriously, it's like always when I'm like, "Wait, what is this?" and I look
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
So the lady had said that the sounds that they didn't like make any like squeaks or anything, probably because they were just like we were feeding them like the
Yeah.
whole time. Um, and she said that they sound like TIE fighters from Star Wars. And I was just like, what does that sound like? So you'll see those in the Giggly Witches. 'Cause I was looking up what those were.
Wait, what's the noise like? Can you imitate it?
No, I couldn't find
No.
like we were like walking and I couldn't find a good video and then
Damn.
I
Okay, that's all of our homework to
so
go YouTube
yeah,
this
so I gotta
ourselves to
yeah,
listen.
or if you know, send us a voice recording to the Giggly Witches Instagram so that we can hear
Yeah,
it.
send us your
Um,
impression of a capybara slash TIE fighter from
TIE
Star
Fighter.
Wars.
But yeah, so that was really, really cool. It's like a 30-minute experience. You're like in there with a couple other families and
Yeah.
everything. There's like a private one that you can do, but my mom didn't want to do it because they bring out like raccoons and stuff too. She was like, I didn't want to meet a raccoon.
I want to meet a
And I was
raccoon.
like, I would love to meet a raccoon. So, maybe we can do it when you're here. But it's like
Yeah.
$100 for like the big private one. But
I'll
anyways, but I
I'm
think it's
in.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they had like baby capybaras in that room. They had skunks and raccoons and other things and stuff in there that I saw like through the window. But we got to just hang out with the three capybaras. And that was really, really cool. So if
Oh
you're
my
ever in St.
God.
Augustine, I recommend
The
it.
Capybara Cafe. Speaking
Yeah.
of, there is a family of skunks that now lives in my yard.
Oh.
So every time I come home at night, they're just because the way like my apartment's kind of like set back from the street, so I go around the front apartment and I kind of live in like the back. I just have like the one
Mm-hmm.
door, but there's like a little like grassy courtyard And then there's a bunch of bushes right under my window. So when I've been coming home at night lately, they're all either like scattered around the yard, which it's like one mommy and like three babies. They're so cute, but I'm so scared of getting sprayed. Like I don't want to startle them or anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm friend.
Yeah.
But they're so cute and like they're here every night and Boo watches them out the window because they come under and hang out in the bushes under my apartment, like under my window. And then they still like scurry away. They clearly live under the neighbor. I'm pointing because I'm like looking at it, but they clearly live behind the neighbor's garage because they go through this little hole in our fence. And then like when they're like scurrying away with they're so, oh, it's 2:22 on the clock right now. And it's June 2nd, 4/2s. Anyways, they've been here every night and it's usually fine. But the other night I got home, this is when Pam was like, what are you doing up so late? Because I'm never up that late, but I got home at like 1 a.m. because I was like at a birthday party in the city and just got home late. And I'm kind of absentmindedly walking to the back. And then I posted this on my story, so maybe some of you saw it. But they're all like out in the yard. They're not when they're in the bushes. Like I can kind of like get in, and I'm like not too worried about it. But they're
by.
fully all in the yard, and I'm like so tired. And I'm like I don't know what to do. So I just like kind of waited until they were done, and they all scurried away. And it only took about like 5 minutes, but I like literally couldn't get in my house because I was like, I'm gonna get sprayed by these skunks. Like they're right next to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how quickly they use their defense mechanisms rather than run away.
I think you can like tell.
Yeah.
Like I think they have to like prep.
Yeah. Their tails are always up though. So I feel like I was like, they're all of these guys, their tails are always all the way straight up. I imagine them to be chilling and then go like that, but they're always all
yeah, me too.
Straight up. Maybe because I am there and they've already done it, but I've never seen them in motion, But they're so cute. The little babies are so cute. I want to hold it so bad.
They're so really tiny,
the
babies.
They're so cute. But then it made me remember when, like, this was years and years and years ago when I was with my ex and we first got Mr. Cat, like the first cat we had. And he must have gone up to a skunk and like sniffed its butt or something.
Oh, yeah.
And he got sprayed. And we took him for a bath.
It takes a long time.
And it was so strong that it gave us headaches. Because so I was like, I'm not gonna test the waters even a little bit. No. I am not getting sprayed by a skunk. No. I got life to live.
I think you have to like bathe them in like tomato.
Yeah, I think because you have to use like something acidic, right? Because like tomato juice is acidic. So I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And I remember he like had posted on his stories, and all these people were sending us like things to try. We were doing everything, and I don't know if it's like because of fur, it's harder probably than like human, like our skin. But it was a while before it fully went away. And it gave us headaches. Like it was so strong. So it's so cute. But I'm also like, can you guys not do this every night?
Yeah, like I have to be able to leave my house.
So like literally, and I'm just like creeping around back here. I'm like, I only have one door. Like I can't go through a different door, for you guys.
Yeah,
I would.
Is there a window?
I know. Like I'll just pop out the screen and put a little step stool by my other window. That's a little high up in the back. But it has been really, really cute. And I put up this shelf just for Boo on the windowsill so she can perch up there. And she's having a good time watching them. Like she just is relaxed. She's not trying to hunt. Yeah. I was like, do you think that's your family? Because you kind of look like
I was going to say, do you think she thinks that like they're like friends? Like one of us.
Or... She doesn't do that. You know how cats do that like kind of like thing with their mouth when they like want to hunt something. She doesn't do that. She just watches them super relaxed, like it's her like she's watching TV or something.
She's like, my program's on.
She's like, Mom, please don't talk to me right now, my program's on. I'm like, okay. Like I close my blinds, but I leave that one up just a little bit where her little shelf is so she can still see out and watch them at night.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. That's what's been entertaining me this week.
Love that. Do you have any other silly goofies?
Okay, I remembered this happened like last weekend when I was home, but then it made me want
Mm-hmm.
to ask the question. Okay, so
Okay.
what happened was
What happened was.
um okay, so I said last week how like I was just a complete dingus and I didn't pack anything. Like I forgot so much
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I went with my stepmom to TJ Maxx because she needed to pick up something for the wedding. And so I was looking at all the skincare and stuff. And I saw there was this whole section of Korean skincare, and I saw a brand that like when I was in South Korea, their like version of Sephora there is called Olive Young. And I
Okay.
was in there every single day. I was constantly buying new stuff because Korean skincare is like famous. Also,
Yeah.
the US dollar is strong there, so stuff was a really good price, all of that. So I was in there like every day. Shout out Olive Young, I miss you. And anyways, I was in TJ Maxx and I recognized the label. I was like, oh my God, that's the brand I got in this serum that I love. So, as one does, I just took one of every product in that brand because I recognized it. And I was like, this stuff
Yeah.
is the shit. Like, I'm gonna whatever. And it was a good price. It was at TJ Maxx. So everything's like marked down and stuff. And I know I like it.
Yeah.
So then I go up to the register and I pour it all out. And she was like, oh, do you know this brand? And I always feel like such a douche every time I say something like this, but I was like, oh yeah, I tried it when I was
Yeah.
but then I was like, oh, I've tried one before and I saw it and I liked it. So I saw this and I just had to try everything. And she looked at me and she goes, are you a Virgo? And I was like, is that a Virgo thing that I would do that? That to me didn't scream Virgo, like buying all the skincare because I saw it but I got like, do you think that's a Virgo thing to do? First, is my first question.
Um, I think it can be kind of like a,
Kind of like obsessive if you like something, you like go
yeah,
all in on it.
yeah, yeah, especially because Virgo is like the sixth house, which is like
Mm,
health and
I was
and
gonna say like
and
because of the health
like
and
taking care of your body and
yeah.
things like that.
But I thought that was so funny and I was just laughing because it was like in my hometown in Marshfield where like
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't grow up with I got my mom wasn't into astrology, but she was definitely like kind of like a she was more of a hippie, I thought, growing up than a witch, but she was a witch. But
Yeah.
I just don't think of people existing like that in my hometown, but they do. And I just thought it was so cute and funny. And I was like, what? And then she was like, what's your big three? And I was like, girl, and we were talking. But so my follow-up question is, have you ever had a time like that where like a complete stranger like called you out by your sun sign, or just like a moment where you had to like laugh at yourself because you were like, oh yeah, I'm that. Like, oh yeah, I'm such an
Yeah.
Aries.
No one, I feel like the people that I've surrounded myself with until recently
Yeah.
did not understand or appreciate astrology. They thought I was
Yeah.
a fucking loser
Yeah.
and like like one of the guys that I used to tour with would regularly send me like scientific articles on like why astrology is not real. And I was like, joke's on you because that's a real fucking Libra thing to do.
You're
Like
like, you're
I
being such a
like
Libra right now.
like and your other friend is a Taurus, and all he fucking loves to do is eat and sleep. So
Yeah.
listen, like,
Listen.
and the other one of you is a Cancer, and he's the one that ended up having to apologize for me for to at the end of the tour for being a big fucking baby and causing all this drama. But I digress.
That's so funny. I
So
also,
until
yeah. Okay, sorry. Keep going. Here. Finish your
no, no,
thought.
you're good. Until recently, I've always been the one to be like, "Oh, are you
Yeah.
this sign?" But I think for me, I made a post about this, I think a few months ago, but I have to always laugh at myself because they always like, the stereotypical Aries is like really aggressive. They always like make jokes about us like wanting to fight everybody. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
think I'm like that. Like, I'm not super aggressive. Like if you get me fired up, I will be.
Same.
But
Yeah.
what I am is like really protective. Like I'm very, very protective over my friends
Yeah.
and um like if somebody's like hurt them or things like that. Like
Yeah.
you're dead to me kind of
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna say, I think
Like
because I have the
you
Aries
can
moon, I
forgive
think it's more like, yeah, I'll just be quick to like if yeah, if you're
I'm
like my friends
quick
will
and then
not
I get
tell me
over
if
it.
their boyfriends are doing something shitty, I feel like, because I'll just be like,
Same.
oh, there's no coming back.
Yeah, no, same. Um, like I'm very quick to anger and then I get over it very, very quickly.
Same. I have a
Um,
temper, but it takes a lot to get me there. I don't easily just go off, but when the
yeah,
temper's tempering, it's
yeah.
fire. But then I'm
Don't be in
also
my
like
way.
fine like 3 minutes later. I'm like, oh sorry, just needed
Yeah,
a
like I just have
snack.
to like rage about it and then I'm fine. Yeah. Yeah, like I have to rage and then I'll be fine. But that I had to laugh at myself then. Like every time I see one of those meme posts on astrology that's like Aries is always trying to fight everybody, and I made a post about it a couple months ago that was like POV, you're an Aries that's always aggravated that people say we're trying to fight all the
You're
time, and
like,
I
I want
just
to fight you
screenshot
on it.
all of the times that was like, do you want me to fight them? Do I need to fight them? Who do I need to fight? Like
You do act like
it's
that
like
though, to me. I feel like you're like,
yeah.
who do I need to fight? And I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, because why is somebody being mean to you? Why is somebody hurting you?
Exactly.
Like
I'm just in my room with my cat. This is who you're being mean to.
literally, all 5'2" of me will come after you. Like I'm like,
God.
don't be mean to my friend.
Yeah.
Like that gets me really, really that like really
Yeah.
ignites the Aries in me. Like if
Yeah.
you're being mean to my brother, oh my God, I think I told this story before about when my youngest brother, somebody like attacked him on the streets in New York City.
Oh. Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
the man was like not leaving his like one of his like girlfriends alone, and then my brother finally stepped in, and the guy like grabbed him by the throat. Like I still think about that man. Like if I ever see him, he'll be sorry. Like I
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like that's a very that's when I really
Yeah.
Aries shine out. Yeah, yeah.
I know. My Aries shines for other people, and then for me, I give them way too long of a leash. I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Ah, whatever.
I
It's
think I
fine.
used to, but the last two 2.5 years, I've gotten a lot better at
Yeah.
things like that. And now I just like, I have, I think, even less patience when it comes to like my friends' partners and things like that. I'm like, he's a fucking dude. Like,
Yeah.
he's not that special. Look at you. You're a little angel baby fairy. Like,
Yeah.
he's a fucking toad. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about him anymore.
Yeah. I did. I
So, yeah,
was I
anyways,
was
that's
talking
my.
to a friend recently, and she's like on apps kind of like on and off, and we were talking about dating and whatever, and I was catching her up on my stuff and whatever. And it's interesting to when you're like in your life and you just don't really like recognize your own like growth or something. And I
Hmm.
have a ways to go in growth with this stuff. But she said to me, she was like, you just seem like um you like stay knowing who you are, and like you recognize boundaries, and even if you're not perfect at them, like it just seems like you're just really aware of all this stuff forever. Because I was just, I don't know, whatever. And to me, I don't know, I was like, really? Because I don't see myself sometimes. I mean, I definitely know who I am and like all that, but I don't know. It's funny to. It was just a moment where I was like, oh, that's nice that somebody else sees me that way, because I don't always.
Yeah.
We don't always see ourselves or recognize when we're like, oh, thanks, and then it helps you
Yeah.
ground into it even more. I feel like.
100%. Even just now, one of my like coaches has been, she's like, you can't sell if you don't post about it. And I was like, you got me there. So,
Yeah, got me there.
so, I literally just posted on my story about my death and rebirth readings.
Oh
And
yeah,
so she responded to it. And I was like, I'm trying. And she was like, you're doing.
you're
And I was
doing.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
And so that's kind of like, that's what that just made me think of, the same kind of like reframe where you're just like, oh yeah,
yeah.
like you don't really see it when it's you.
Yeah. I saw this meme my friend sent me that was like so I don't know if this is like an ADHD thing that we ruminate on our to-do lists and things and put stuff off, and
Mm-hmm.
they can take 5 minutes or 2 seconds, but we make them take 3 days, which is
Yeah,
very frustrating. But
at
the
minimum.
meme was like, I was hanging out. The text on it said like, I was hanging out with my mom the other day, and she thought to herself out loud, "Oh, I need to call the dentist." And then she just picked up her phone and called the dentist, just raw dogging it. Didn't take 2 to 3 days to ruminate, put it on her to-do list and think about how she needs to call the dentist. And it made me go, holy fuck, that's what I don't raw dog anything. I have to write it down and stare at it and allow it to give me a certain level of anxiety
Process. Yeah,
before before I just sit down and do it. And I was like, we we can think things we need to do and just do them
and
immediately.
just do them. Yeah,
What? The way
yeah.
I have
No, that's a big
scraps of
ADHD
lists
thing.
around my whole house, it's chaos. I get things done, but like I have my systems, but I was like, it made me go, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna decide that I'm gonna be more like that. Like I have a list that's like text this person and text this person and text this person. When instead of writing that down, I could have just texted those people immediately.
Yeah. But the thing is that like sometimes it's just like I don't have the brain
Yeah.
capacity for
Yeah.
it. Like what I have the capacity for is just like setting a reminder for that right now.
Yeah, I need to
So I
find
think that's
balance
part of
because I
it
spend a
too.
lot of time making and remaking my to-do lists of my
Yeah, that's
calendar.
another Virgo thing right there. Yeah.
And I'm like, I could have just spent the past 20 minutes doing one of these tasks rather than rearranging my whole.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better. I am getting better. I do that with like posting where I'm like, let me think about and schedule out
Posting, I do
the
it too.
times that I'm going to work on posting this week. And then I'm like, oh, it's been 30 minutes. I could have just posted something. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to follow that schedule that I just
No,
carefully made
no.
because the
I
Virgo is
have a whole
constantly fighting
content.
with the Aries and
Yeah.
Sagittarius, and she never wins.
No. I have so many, like I have an idea list. I have like a in process list. I have
Yeah,
a planned out list. I have they go on my calendar on when I'm supposed to post them. I
I don't
haven't
do
posted
any of
anything
it.
in like a month.
I don't do any of it. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
you know, I'm just
I'm working on it.
one
I'm
of
trying to get better
my
at social
mantras
media.
is it's safe for me to raw dog life. It's one of my new mantras. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
let stuff pop into my head and I'm just gonna do them. And you know what? I did it a couple times. It feels pretty good. We'll see how long that
Good.
lasts. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes I just I don't know. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't.
yeah,
But you know what? We're trying.
we're
We're
trying,
trying.
trying. That just made me laugh so hard because I was like, shit, yeah, I don't think I'm physically capable of thinking. And you know what? I should call the dentist. It's time for me to go to the dentist again. And I'm going to think about it for probably like 3 weeks at least before I do. I also need to go to the eye doctor because I need new contacts.
Mm.
That's not going
Well,
to
I have to
happen for
find
a
a
while.
dentist here if you would like me to text you when I do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because I'm actually really good at making appointments. Like
I'm
I don't
not.
know why, but that's a thing that I'm actually really good at.
I'm not.
Anything else? Don't ask me for that. But I'm
Making
really good at.
appointments, especially if I have to call on the phone, it
Mm,
makes me want to die. And I'm not
okay.
being dramatic.
Would you like me to make your appointment?
I,
Just give me your insurance information and I'll make your appointment for you. I could do that for you.
I was watching this was probably like 2 years ago now at this point, but I was watching this video about this girl. She was sharing, she's like, I had such a big win today. I'm staying at this hotel. Um, I really wanted room service, but I really struggle with calling on the phone to do things like that. But so she was like, so I hyped myself up, and I was like, and I practiced and and I called and I did it and I ordered it and everything was fine or whatever. And I was like, that's me. Like, I have such phone panic unless I'm at work and I'm like, I have like
In
a
like work
mask to put
mode.
on. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm this right now. I was like, that's me. And then I read all the comments and they were like, girl, you are autistic. It's like, oh, was like, is that what that is?
Hmm.
It's like, what? Oh, that's just social anxiety, isn't
Yeah. No, for some reason I'm really good at like phone conversations and approaching people.
it? Mm-mm,
But if somebody approaches
not me.
me or like I'm in the middle of a conversation, then I can't do.
See, I can't
Like
do
I don't
that.
know how to
I can
continue
respond. If you
conversations.
approach me, I can respond.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't. That's we have like the opposite
yeah, I
forms.
can't go into I
Um,
can't. No, none of
I
that.
can't continue a conversation. Like I kill every conversation that I'm a part of because I'm just like,
I have that's that I felt the same way. That I do have like a list in my head that I've memorized of like this is the
things to
kinds of
say.
things you can respond to instead of just
Oh,
being
yeah.
like thank you or answering the
Yeah.
question and not asking one back. I'm like, okay, you got to remember to ask the question back.
Yeah.
It can be a different thing.
I think to me too, sometimes I forget to ask because like not because I don't want to know your answer, but because I'm expecting you to just say it to me because that like
Mm,
if I ask you a question and you tell me, like my response is to then also answer the question. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, and then like if you don't do that, like I think in my brain I'm like, oh, maybe they just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I just don't think I'm a good
Conversationalist?
No, well, it can be, but I don't like small talk. If it's small
Oh,
talk,
I hate small
that's
talk.
where like I love like podcasting and stuff. I'm a good conversationalist when we're like talking about things I'm interested in, but if we're
Yeah.
talking about things that I'm not interested
If it hits my special interest,
if you're not
then
going to talk
I'm
to me
good.
about my special interests, then I don't really want to be there.
Then I don't,
No.
yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't know how to like continue that conversation. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I just yeah, the thoughts don't populate in my head.
Yeah. I literally texted Sadie when I was like trying to make friends. Um,
Yeah, you Googled like
the
a
first
list of
time here, I
like
was like
conversation
Googling
starters.
things of like what to talk about with like strangers. And I was like, this is normal, right? For someone to do this. This
You
is,
just got, you know what? I'm a really good listener. So I just
yeah,
go, okay, all right. And then you just ask them something about something they've brought up.
yeah,
Or, yeah, but it's taken a lot of, it's not
time.
natural to me.
Yeah, yeah. Effort, a lot of effort. I
Yeah.
actually literally just saved I have this like idea in my head of like a blog post that I want to talk about and I literally just saved two other Substacks to link into that blog post that are literally questions to just ask people.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very topical actually.
I mean, I remember like so I made a friend in person here.
Mm,
This was years ago, obviously. This is a
okay.
long time ago. But when I lived here last time, I made a friend in person and then she like started listening to my old podcast and stuff. And like in person I can be shy at first. Nobody believes me, but I'm like I'm actually shy and then I warm up and I'm outgoing. And it's also different. Some people I'm immediately really outgoing around and some people are
Yeah.
not. And like it's not anything offensive or anything. Like it's not like I don't like somebody. It's just like I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But this person got like mad and started calling me fake and stuff because I was so like outgoing on goddess hangs and bubbly and whatever. And I was like kind of like shy
Yeah.
and quiet in person. But I was just like it was like it
You're like, no,
was
I've
this
just
whole
known.
dramatic thing that I was like
Yeah.
fake, fake, what? And it was crazy. And I was like, I'm just shy sometimes and I can't explain why. Obviously, the
Yeah. Also,
person
like
jumping
you've
to that conclusion, is probably a little bit of my like own like intuitive like energy reading that wasn't a safe person to open up to around and like wasn't
yeah.
maybe like the best of friend for me because someone that jumps to that not very nice, right?
No,
But
also like if you're doing a podcast with somebody, it's like obviously somebody that you're comfortable with
right.
already talking to.
Yeah. And you like, I don't know, like you're more bubbly. You turn up stuff when you're like recording something so, like to a degree, like like okay, this is meant to be entertaining, so I'm gonna joke around and I'm gonna be more
Are you not
animated.
entertained?
We gotta entertain the people. I am like that in real life too, but not like 24/7. I feel like this person wanted me to like perform for her or something, and I was just like, I don't know. I'm just kind of shy. We were going out to like things with like lots of people. Like we went to this like one festival and this event, just like around town, whatever. But it was just like, I was like, and I was just shocked. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
um,
No, that's kind of
but it's
crazy.
kind of
For me, you
funny.
will know if I don't like you. So that I can't hide. I'm not really good at that. But
That's
it's not like
yeah,
often. There's
yeah,
just
right.
some
I'm like,
people where
I
I'm just like,
generally like people. I like people.
yeah.
I like I can get along with almost anyone. I might be quieter in groups, or at least at first. It can take me, like on Friday night, I went to this birthday party where I knew the person I was going with, but not really anyone else. And when we left, they were like, "Oh, like my friends like loved you, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, sorry. I'm sorry I was shy at first. It didn't take long, but I'm like, it takes
Yeah.
me a little bit to warm up." And they're like, "You weren't shy. You were great, whatever." So I was like, "Oh my God," 'cause I thought I was
Yeah.
being weird at first because I've gotten that too before where people are like will say like, "Oh, like Sadie's like snobby or a bitch because she didn't want to talk to us," and I'm like, no, I'm terrified of you guys. I think you're so cool, and I don't know what to say. I'm scared.
I think that that's part of it too. Like I think we're like we were saying before, like we're
Yeah,
probably a little bit harder on ourselves. Like we
yeah,
don't really realize how we're really expressing.
yeah,
But I do that too. Like sometimes I like if I don't know everybody here, like I'm just trying to like vibe it out.
yeah.
Like I'm not trying to like
I'm usually
pour
kind of
out
like
my life story to
observing
you right now.
people and
Yeah.
learning everyone's energy, and it's not in a judgmental way, just in a like,
No,
how do
no,
I
just kind
hop
of
in
like
here
a
and shoot the shit and
which
have
mask do I put
fun?
on right now?
Kind
That's
of,
that's what I just
kind
realized
of,
that we're
yeah.
probably doing is just kind of like just that's a big
It's just
like
getting
autistic
comfortable. I'm
thing. It's
like,
just
okay,
like
like I'm
masking
like
around.
observing, yeah, the patterns of people and like how do,
Yeah.
not that I'm gonna be
Like how
fake,
can
but
I
how do
relate here?
what's my dynamic in this group or whatever.
Yeah, just like how do I relate to these people? Like
Yeah.
what are we talking about here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyways,
Anyways,
should we talk about speaking of people that you can relate to and like, vibe with?
vibe. I don't know why this song doesn't go with it. I was trying to think of a different song, but celebrate good. No, but there's this vibration
No.
song, right? Something good vibrations. Is that a song? Celebrate came in my head
Yes,
instead. I can't think of the tune though. Do
I'm
you
not
got
gonna
it?
do it. But it's like I'm not gonna do it. Hang on, I'll just play it really quick. Because
Okay,
I'm not gonna put everybody through that.
I will.
This one?
Where's the good vibrations part? There we go. Good vibrations. I nailed that. I nailed that. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh man, here we go. Okay.
Anyways, we're talking
So,
about the law of vibration today.
yes. This is part of our Universal Laws series. So if you haven't checked it out yet,
Yes.
we have an intro to the Universal Laws and then the Law of Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to go deeper into the Law of Vibration, how to use it, what is it, how to use it intentionally in your life. So Pam, why don't you get us started, kick us off?
Alrighty. So the law of vibration is, would you say it's fair to say that it's like kind of like foundational to the other ones?
Yeah, I always think like none of them are more important per se
Individual?
or more powerful
Yeah.
or have like more of a weight necessarily in it all, but I think like if you were to understand only a few on a deeper level rather than like all 12, or sometimes people say there's like even more than that, I would say like law, if I was going to say two to understand the best, if you were just going to only understand that many, I would say law of attraction and law of vibration, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think,
Not that it's more
yeah,
important or has more weight in all of this, but I think that. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay, so basically, basic science,
Mm-hmm.
everything is energy.
Yep.
Energy is everything. Everything has its own vibration. Everything in the entire universe is
Mm-hmm.
in a constant state of movement,
Yes.
vibration. Um, and that each vibration has its own frequency,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of why we say like attracts like, because vibrations at the same frequency
Yes.
can interact and attract each other.
Yes.
Um, so
One of my
that's just
I
a
have I have a visual to give everyone for this part.
okay.
Because okay, so we learned in science class a million years ago that everything is made up of atoms.
Yes.
So that's the basic building block of our universe, our own body, like literally everything, right? And
Yeah.
an atom is made up of 99.99% space. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're like the reason that like we're solid and things have different, I mean everything is because of vibration, color, texture, any
Sound.
tangible
Yeah.
thing is because of vibration. But so this is the visual. So I read this fact. I feel like I'm a little bit frozen. Am I okay? Am I here?
You are a little bit.
Okay. I think it's
I chose
settling
to
now.
ignore it. Yeah.
So if you were to take the entire Earth's population, okay, all of the humans on Earth, and you were to take all of the space out of our atoms, okay, so the 99.99% space out of all of the atoms of the entire population of the humans that are alive right now, and you could fit us all, we would be this, and you packed us together, we would be the size of a sugar cube. That's how much
So
solid matter
crazy.
we are, which is none.
Yeah.
That just gives us a visual. So that space is the vibration. That's like the frequency and the energy. So I just love that visual of this.
Yeah.
That kind of helps us go, "Oh shit, like we're not real." Kind of.
Yeah.
Everything is
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. Everything is energy. And everything has its own vibration.
Mhm.
And we can attract the things that we desire
Mhm.
by operating at the frequency of the things that we desire.
Mhm.
Um, so I think Sadie, we talked about it in our first episode
Yeah.
on the universal laws. But just a quick disclaimer. One, neither of us are doctors or mental health therapists. So just putting
True
that one
that.
out there. But I think it's really, really important. I'm gonna just like read from my notes because I wrote it down really well and I don't want to
Yeah.
misspeak.
Yeah.
um, really important to mention mental health, I think, when we talk about the law of
Mhm.
vibration, the law of attraction,
Yes,
because
it is.
so much of it we talk about like our thoughts create our reality and all these things. And I think it can be really difficult when you have anxiety or OCD or depression or anything like that.
Yeah.
And to like kind of not ruminate and get caught in a loop of being like, I'm being negative, I'm gonna attract all these things, I'm gonna attract all these bad things now
Mhm.
because this is my thoughts, these are my thoughts.
Yeah.
No, no, I think that can be that messaging can be really harmful.
Mhm.
um so this is just a quick disclaimer. Everything that you think is not automatically manifested into this world. Like
Right.
if you think bad thoughts, one, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you wrong, and it doesn't make you any less of a spiritual person. It
Right.
doesn't make you any less intuitive. You are
Mm-hmm.
still a sweet little angel
You're
baby.
perfect in every way.
You're perfect. Oh, now I want to play Perfect by Q. Hey Siri, cue Perfect by One Direction. Um um like you're not manifesting bad things because you're anxious or depressed or you have OCD.
Yeah.
Intrusive thoughts do not equal your vibration. Like if you have OCD and you're getting caught up on like having to keep your thoughts pure or
Mm-hmm.
high vibe or
Yep.
anything like that. I know it's so much easier said than done. Don't try not to get caught in that pattern because that's not what this law is here for, right?
Yeah.
Like this is merely just like a way to kind of understand one aspect of the universe
Yeah.
and how like we can attract things to ourselves. It's meant to help, not hurt or like
Mm-hmm.
stress you out.
Yep.
Um and um yeah, like first of all, second of all, if you're having bad feelings, if you're stressed or anxious or you're in a bad fucking mood or anything like that, like that's normal. No one
Mm-hmm.
is like high vibe all the time, and if they are, then I think that's
I always
maybe
think
something else.
of, I'm actually just started rewatching New Girl, and this is in the first episode, but I always think of Nick and Jess, they're at the bar, and she's trying to get him to say something about his feelings or whatever. And she was like, you know what happens to people that don't feel their feelings? They get old and they get weird
Uh-huh.
and they end up, and she goes on this like little rant. And so, and I recently did, I think it was a Substack post that a lot of people responded to because I said, I was like, it actually, all of this stuff that we're talking about, the law of vibration, the law of attraction, manifestation, what's actually going to block us is when we feel those things, like shoving them down and trying to pretend
Yeah.
that we're not experiencing them, whether those are intrusive thoughts or ruminating on things, or this like questioning if like I like look, I grew up thinking that I was evil. I don't know. Grew up
Yeah.
Catholic, had a lot of intrusive thoughts, that of like terrible things, right? So I was just like, oh, I think I'm like a devil child. Like that's so
Yeah.
silly
No,
now,
this is like,
but that wasn't true, and it didn't turn my life into like anything. I mean, look, I struggled with a lot of stuff, but my point is what's worse for us is to bottle it all up and try to be fake high vibe, be fake positive when we're not
yeah.
actually feeling it. The best thing we can do is be so fucking real with ourselves. And when we need to cry, when we need to be angry, when we need to be pissed off at the universe or somebody else, to learn how to process those things in a healthy way. And that's what
Yeah,
all of this
100%.
is saying. So when we're like, yeah, when we vibrate at a high frequency so we can attract abundance in all of its forms, money, love, joy, inspiration, that doesn't mean so you better be fucking happy all the fucking time. That means when you feel sad, when you feel angry, when you feel disrespected, that you do something about that and you like process it. And that's a lot of times that's just like literally like crying and like pounding your pillows and being like, what the fuck? And getting it out and then moving on with your day.
Yeah, I also like I've read that it takes literally 90 seconds to feel a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So to like really like let yourself feel that feeling, it
Yeah.
takes 90 seconds. So if you even just let yourself have a minute and a half, those 90 seconds to
Mm-hmm.
just like let yourself be fucking pissed or
Yeah.
like angry or sad or hurt or whatever, that's fine. It's not gonna like even if you take more than that, you know what I mean? Like that's just like the baseline.
Yeah.
But um anyways, that there was something else I wanted to say too. Before now I can't remember. But anyways, so also it's like you're not stuck,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not like stuck in any vibration and you can never change it.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's always like things that you can do, and we'll talk about that too. But
Well, and I'll say the
yeah.
other one that we were talking about this right before we started recording because we both experienced this.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one thing I can speak to personally is that I used to really struggle with intrusive thoughts. And so when I
Yeah.
learned about manifestation, I got very stressed because I was like, so am I going to manifest these horrible things that pop into my brain
Yeah.
that like either I'm doing something bad in those intrusive thoughts or whatever it is. And I've talked about this with clients before a lot. Um, Thinking about an intrusive thought, one, that it's not yours. It's not like a deep rooted subconscious program running in you. That's really the stuff we want to work on is finding those like deep rooted like beliefs and identities and transforming those, right? The
Yeah.
intrusive things are coming
Exactly.
in and out, and you're like, what the fuck was that? That's not who you are. It's not you on an
No.
identity level. It's not your belief. So it's okay. And just to like, it really is like, I rarely get them anymore. And I think it's all of the work I've done on my spiritual journey, but a lot of learning how to surrender and just not letting them affect me as much anymore and go, oh my God, like, why did I think that? Am I a bad person? Am I this? Am I that? And just
Yeah.
go, oh, that's interesting, and letting them float on by more often than not. And accidentally throughout my journey, and same with anxiety, I used to be obsessively anxious about absolutely everything and be in constant like fight or flight, going to the grocery store, going to a restaurant, like constantly going to class. Like I would skip class all the time because I was like, I don't want to go. I'm so anxious and scared of everybody there and everybody on the way and like
Yeah.
all human interaction. And just sort of accidentally through this work of like, let me explore my subconscious mind, let me find out what's going on under there, rewire my brain to believe in myself, to be, know who I am. All of that, like, kind of like naturally allowed the anxiety and the social anxiety, different kind of anxiety, and the intrusive thoughts. There was like a pleasant side effect that all those things sort of felt, and that's my journey, right? That felt so
Yeah.
much more to the wayside through all of this work. So it's nothing, it's just like allowing, accepting that part of ourselves, allowing
Yeah.
it to be what it is. I still go through depressive cycles. I still go through anxious cycles. It sucks when it's happening. It feels like, oh, all the progress I've ever made was a total fucking waste. I'm actually haven't done anything until you come back, right? And so it's
Yeah.
just like acceptance is a really beautiful high vibration, and accepting like these parts of ourselves for what they are, and just continuing to carry on with, okay, that's what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
And I'm manifesting these big, wonderful, beautiful transformations in myself, in my life, the world around me. So,
Yeah. I think part of it too. So just on the last bit that you just said too. So even if you're not manifesting big things, I think it's important just pay attention even to like the tiny, tiny things that are coming through, and I think that can really, then you can start to see more and more and more, because I think sometimes we have these like big expectations where we're like, well, this person is manifesting all of these really huge things and I'm not manifesting all of these really huge things, and it's because I have these intrusive
mm,
thoughts and things like that. And like I think what's been working for me is just like noticing little teeny tiny things, like this little smallest of things, like being like, on my walk today I want to go see my turtles,
mm-hmm,
and then my turtles are there.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it could be really silly, things like that.
Yeah.
And then you start to notice more and more. But same, that happened to me too, where like I literally had a mentor tell me, like, well, your anxious thoughts are like manifesting.
Mm.
And I was like, that is really unhelpful.
Well,
Like,
and I think like
so,
there's like a
I mean,
balance to it, right? Because it's like I always think too, okay, I have a personal responsibility to shift my own energy and recognize when I am like allowing myself to feel sorry for myself for a really long time and not be
yeah.
willing to do something about it, right? So it's not helpful when a mentor talks to us about it. But there's a balance
No, but it was
to all
more
these
like
things.
I was like one of my biggest anxious like anxieties, especially just from my my mom got into an accident, and then my dad was in an accident, and then my aunt had cancer. It was just like a few years where like a lot of
Yeah.
shit happened. So one of my like biggest anxieties is like family getting
Yeah.
hurt, things
Yeah.
like that. And they were like, well, your anxieties can like manifest like that. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I'm gonna manifest family
You know what?
getting
This is
hurt?
an
And
interesting
I was like,
topic.
that's not
Yeah.
helpful. That's not helpful. And so if anybody tells you that,
No,
just don't listen. I don't think that that's a really helpful thing.
not that. But you know what I was thinking about? This is connected to this in a way, and it's a way that could manifest differently, not in a literal way. Because I was having a conversation about like I traveled alone for a long time. I was always making friends everywhere I went. I also wasn't traveling alone all the time. But they were like, "Don't you ever get lonely when you're doing that?" And I was like, not typically when I'm sick or when something bad happens and I wish
Yeah.
someone was there, I don't feel safe. But I was like, typically no. And I was like, I know this sounds so like dramatic, but I was like, sometimes I feel lonelier when I'm with a bunch of people that I'm just not in alignment with, or I just feel like don't
Yeah.
get me or aren't bothering to get to know me and just whatever. I was like, this sound like I'm like, this sound it's so I don't know, dramatic, whatever, but sometimes I feel lonelier with people. And then I was thinking about that more after that, and it made me think about how after my mom died, and I was also disappointed by the response in certain individuals I was very close to in my life after that, that made me feel alone. So there's a lot of disappointment and grief and just being let down by
Yeah.
people. And I was like, how that has manifested in my life is that I don't let people get close to me very easily. And that's not necessarily always a bad thing. It's fine, but it's not necessarily a great thing. like when
Yeah.
I'm like in dating and I'm like I'll let you get close, but not too close because I'm afraid you're gonna either die or something bad's gonna happen in my life and you're not gonna be there for me. So if I just keep you an arm's length away and I'm actually still very independent and self-sufficient, then I'm safe. And that's how
Yeah.
that that kind of similar fear to what you're talking about has manifested in my life. And I was like, geez Louise,
Huh.
I need to work on that. Like I realized that this week I was like, oh, I see how that's manifesting in my life.
Yeah.
So that's an example
Yeah.
how those fears can manifest, but I'm not manifesting more people dying or more people
Yeah.
disappointing me necessarily. I'm manifesting that I have this like, not any closer
Yeah.
kind of thing. That just made me think of that because I
Yeah.
literally realized that this week and I was like, oh, big breakthroughs, Sades.
Whoops.
Whoa, whoa. Don't get any closer.
Stop right there.
Stop right
Thank you
there.
very much.
So, anyways,
Yeah, that's my mental health disclaimer on
yeah.
this that I really felt important to
Hmm.
talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got more on the law of vibration or should I go in?
No, I thought you were gonna say another yeah, because
Yeah.
we went back and forth for us.
We just say yeah for like 20 minutes and be like, well, that's
That's
all, folks.
it. No. Um, no, I think that's kind of it. I had like so much written just in case I got
Hmm.
like nervous, but I think the important bits were covered.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll share some. So I always think it's easiest to understand these things with some analogies. So if we think about the law, well, let me start here actually. So if we break down the components of our vibration and remember all these wonderful things we just talked about, okay? That go in this. But our thoughts have a frequency. So do our emotions. Our emotions carry energy. Then this is like kind of like going deeper into these things. Then we have beliefs. So these are our subconscious beliefs that are making us think, act, feel, behave in certain ways because our beliefs shape our reality in a big way. And remember, beliefs are not the same as thoughts. beliefs are deeper
Yes.
rooted. So even if you struggle with a lot of negative self-talk or, rumination or intrusive thoughts, those things, yeah, ideally we want to get rid of those because you just don't want to have them, but that's not going to completely deter you manifesting things, right?
Yeah.
And then the biggest lever is really our identity. And so this is like who we really believe we are at our core. So this is something really important where, like I said, like I used to really like truly believe I was like an evil person, and that didn't necessarily
Yeah.
manifest evil into my life. But hey, I
No.
feel a lot happier and healthier and more grounded now that I don't believe that about myself.
Yeah.
And I
No, I
manifest a lot
still do it
easier.
sometimes too. I'm like, oh, I've
Yeah.
convinced my therapist that I'm a good person. Like,
I've convinced them. Yeah, I tricked.
yeah.
People say that to me all the time. They're like, "Oh, Sadie, you're just such a pure soul, or you're just so sweet, or you're so nice." And I'm like, I fooled them again. I'm
Yeah.
really evil
Got
on
him.
the inside.
Got him.
Got
Yeah.
him. I'm not, but I'm freaking
Yeah.
human. And so our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, identity, these are all, of course, going to influence our actions. So, of course, when we're manifesting, it's really cool and is absolutely, I mean, it happens all the time actually in little ways, sometimes in big ways where we can manifest things out of thin air. But when we're on a journey to like manifest something in our life, especially something like a big transformation, like our actions, we're co-creators, right? And so we want to be existing, we want to be moving towards this frequency, and it doesn't have to do with negative or positive energy really, but it's like vibrating at the frequency of the life that we want, that has the job and the relationship and the income and the creativity and the fun and the travel and the adventure and
Yeah.
whatever, so that we are acting in a way where we're gonna get those things in our lives. So um so if we think about, so I always liked it when it comes to the law of vibration and what does that really mean, thinking about how, thinking of ourselves kind of like a radio tower, and we send
Hmm.
and receive signals. And when you're listening to, I mean, I know nowadays we don't tune into radio stations like we used to. This analogy is going to be out the door in
Yeah.
a few years, but if we can all recall back in the day,
Yeah.
come with me,
If
travel
you're Gen
back.
Z
Come
or
with me,
older,
children.
you'll understand.
But right, like when you like turn or even press the button, that's fine to see. But when you turn the radio knob, you're tuning into different stations, and then you tune until you find the
Yeah.
station you like and you stay there, right? You're tuning into. So your vibration is the frequency that you are tuned into. So it determines the
Yes.
reality you're receiving. So this is very
Yeah.
like, we can like think of a time. I did we talk about this when we did law of attraction? I think so. Like the when it rains it pours, which can be negative stuff and
I
positive
think
stuff.
so.
But we're
Yeah.
like tuned into this, you like quote wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. You wake up grumpy. You're tuned into this radio station, this kind of like low vibe, right? And then you like spill your coffee, you step in a puddle, you're late to work, um the like like you're like you're off that day, so you're like clumsy and you're
Yeah.
knocking stuff over and you're forgetting stuff and you're get like, because you're tuned into this frequency. So but at the same time, when you wake up and you're like jumping out of bed and you're so joyful and you walk into the coffee shop and like you're radiating so much joyful energy, someone just like buys your coffee for you and you get a free coffee, and then you get to work and you're bouncing around with your free coffee, and then your boss is like, you've been doing good work, I'm actually gonna bring you in on this project that's like above like what you usually do, and it's like a really positive step in the right direction. And then like you go out for lunch and the cute guy flirts with you or whatever, right? Because you're bouncing, you're happy,
Yeah.
you're radiating that energy. Like that is being tuned into a frequency. And we don't have to police our energy like this every single day, but why wouldn't we want to have more days where everybody's flirting with us and happy to see us and complimenting us,
Yeah.
right? And so this is that frequency. When people are just like nonstop being rude to us all day, it's because we are like, we're probably in a funky vibe and we're grimacing as we're walking through the store versus like bouncing on our toes and like like so happy, right? And
Yeah.
so we're attracting who we are being energetically. And this is the I think it's like a very fun and playful way to really lock into the law of attraction and the law of vibration and like wake up in the morning. And I am someone that I usually wake up with a little bit of anxiety. I don't, believe it or not, I don't wake up bouncing around. I do like little morning rituals, and then I am almost every day.
Wait, my light just fell. Sorry, I just was thinking about when you logged on today.
Oh, I went, hey. And Pam like almost flipped out of her chair and passed out because
I had this, like, you know, when it just randomly really hits you like a wave of anxiety out of nowhere? Like, I
yeah.
was actually feeling really good today. I like journaled for the first time in a while. I like
I
scripted
was
this
really
morning.
anxious this
I did
morning.
the
Maybe you were picking up on it. But
maybe.
I was like, I'm not having that kind of day. And I shifted it.
You passed it over.
I
Yeah.
said, damn, take this. I don't want it anymore. I've
Double
had
it
it for
and give
like
it to the
3
next
days.
person.
I can't do this anymore.
Double it and give it to the next person. But anyway, so I like was like, you know what, Sadie, will probably take another few minutes.
Because I'm
So
always
I
late.
sat down and I started doing energy work on myself, and I was like really like in the zone. And I had my headphones on, and then Sadie just went, "Hello," and I was like, started sweating. I freaked. I just was like, not. I wasn't. I was unprepared. It was really funny.
Whoopsie.
Anyway,
I didn't
so
wake up
sorry.
like that.
Please continue.
So this is how in a day to day, I like play the game of like how good can it get? How much can I like to think of it like flirting with the
Yeah.
universe kind of vibe. And this is a very playful way to like, okay, let me just, yeah, okay. I woke up anxious today, whatever. I wake up like that a little bit most days, but I'm able to shift out of it like really easily now with a lot of practice. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot of awareness when if you want to work with the law of vibration, this is how you bring it into your life. Go on.
Thank you
Pam's
so
raising
much.
her hands. Pam, go ahead. You have the floor.
That was one other thing I wanted to say is that I was like, well, we're gonna talk about shifting your energy. And when you're starting out, it's not gonna be immediate.
Right.
I used to get really, really frustrated and be
Yeah.
like, why can everybody else do this so easily? Why is this
Yeah.
taking a really long time for me?
Yeah.
When you're first starting out, even there are some days now where it takes me a really long time to
Yeah.
shift it because something's just feeling really heavy.
Yep.
That is just the second PSA I wanted to say.
Yeah. It's just like,
Yeah.
and it's a skill for sure. Now I
Yes.
can
Yeah.
literally just go, oh, and like literally choose to feel different. Like it almost,
Yeah.
like not always, of course, but with practice, I'm able to be like, oh, I can name exactly why I'm feeling anxious. That's
Yeah.
literally made up, make believe. It's not real. And then just like, it's almost like I'm just like next and like swipe it off to the side.
Yeah.
Comes
Thank
back
you.
tomorrow,
Next.
but
I
it's fine.
literally like out loud, if I'm by myself or somewhere where I can like pretend like I'm talking to like if I don't feel comfortable saying it out loud, I'll
Yeah.
say it in my head, but I literally out loud will just be like, stop,
Yeah. Yeah.
stop. You like actively stop the thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like reframe.
I think like this in the simplest way, this is what I do consistently. It takes about 5 seconds, honestly. But I'll just take a deep breath and I'll look around and just be very, very observant to little details in my environment to bring myself back to the present moment.
Yes.
Because when you
well, that's
come
what they
back
say.
to the present,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong in the present. Even if tomorrow there's something stressful on the horizon, in the present, you're alive. You're fine.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, because anxiety is really, it's really like connected to the future. And so it's like that future tripping, that like feeling like there's danger to come, even though it's not here right now.
Danger, Will Robinson. Yeah. Sorry. That's what they say, right? There's like name 5 things you can see, 4
Yeah.
things you can hear, whatever the
Yeah.
thing is. And then also the one thing that I've taken away from this freaking medical intuitive course. Today was the last day. I'm so annoyed about it. I was really excited and it sucked. But she talks about the 2-minute rule, which I think I maybe have talked about before. where you literally, if you're having these thoughts, you're literally like, is this gonna kill me in the next 2 minutes?
Mm,
No? Okay, how can I shift it? Like kind
yeah,
of thing.
that's good. Yeah, I literally will just repeat to myself, I am here, and I'll just be observing like the little, like not even just the leaves on the tree, but like the details on the leaves on the tree, or
Mm,
like looking, I'm like looking, at my own hands or whatever, and I'm just like in my head, I'm going, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I'm taking like one deep breath, and this is all happening in like 5 seconds. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But it used to take longer and it used to take a lot more work and all of that, like Pam said, practice. But how to like shift your vibration, how to use this in your day to day. And like, yeah, of course, like we all have things we want to manifest. We all have beautiful dreams and desires, but like the law of vibration is something to be so aware of and work with, really, so you can literally just enjoy your day to day more. It's so good for that.
hmm
Because you're really aware of your vibration, your baseline, where you're at, and you're like, oh, I have the power to shift this, because you do. And so,
Yeah.
what's your current baseline emotion? Baseline for me is like, it used to be crazy anxious. My baseline is like just a little bit, where I'm like, it's like a hum of
Mm.
anxiety. That's my kind of my baseline. But I want to always kind of like, and it's close to neutral. So I'm kind of like chill with that nowadays. But that baseline, I slowly got up to that.
Yeah.
Um, but what's your current baseline emotion? Is it anxious, hopeful, excited, lack, fear, shame? Like kind of recognizing like, because we want to be neutral. It's not being like joyful all the time,
Yeah.
or even in a good mood. It's just like neutral. It's just like chill. Right?
That emoji, literally, this is like sometimes I use this to mean that like I'm gonna freak out and I'm trying to hide it. But you know or and then sometimes it's like a 50-50 split, or sometimes it just means that like I'm good. You know the like straightforward smiley face, like there's no emotion on the face, the emoji. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
just the most basic smiley with no blushing cheeks or
Yeah.
anything. It's just like,
Yeah.
that's where we want to be, folks.
This one. That one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that. I'm not especially excited or whatever, but I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. And so when if you feel like you're not there, that's not your baseline on any particular day, and you're like, I don't want to be feeling anxious, or I don't want to be feeling nervous or sad, or whatever it is, it's like, okay, so first, where is this coming from? Is that real? Right? Like a lot of times, like we start dwelling on stuff. So where are my thoughts dwelling on most often? Whether if this is something that you're stuck on like for a longer period of time, or sometimes we just have an off day, right? And that's fine. But where are my thoughts like dwelling? Where am I getting stuck on? Um, and how do I bring myself out of that? What do I need? Do I need to have a cry? Do I need to just come back to the present moment? What, this is a little bit silly, but like literally jumping up and down for a few seconds is so
hmm
helpful. Just shake it up, and you're
Yeah.
just like, ah, or just like tapping. Pam
Yeah.
and I
That's
talk
why I
about
used
all
to
the
start,
time.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to start all my like moon lives that way, just by shaking.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, we just reset. Yeah.
Um, Also, like music is one of the most powerful ways we can shift our frequency so fast. Anytime I'm feeling like sorry for myself, frustrated, oh, I'm not good, I feel bad, I don't want to feel like this anymore. If I turn on like, I can't hear my mouth. If I turn on like Beyonce or Bad Bunny or whatever, something that just
Yeah.
makes me feel like I gotta like shake my ass. Shaking your ass, also very good for this. Um,
Yeah.
like that music that makes you feel like a bad bitch, and you can just like start jumping around or whatever emotion you want to feel. But that's such a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But like we have the power to shift our vibration so quickly within seconds, really through shifting our thoughts. And then when we start doing that more often and we start, that's where that identity begins to shift over time. Our beliefs begin to shift over time. And that baseline starts to rise ever so nicely and so slowly towards being like neutral or higher more of the time. This is all like tipping the scale. And yes, so we can manifest cool shit, but also so we can just love being alive. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's really tiring to be alive.
Sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah, like life is
Also,
hard. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world. It's scary out there. And so we got to do what we can. We deserve to feel good and we deserve to enjoy our life. We have this life and we're going to live it. And
yeah.
so that's really what it's about.
Yeah. I was gonna say also I want to hear what everybody's go-to happy song is.
Yes, we should
So
make a
please leave a
playlist.
comment. Yeah. I started making one. Oh no, I was making a like a nostalgia playlist that
Mm,
I'm still working on. But I wanted to share that. That's a good one.
yeah.
But for me, it's always Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift
Mm.
or Upside Down by A-Teens.
Upside down, bouncing off the
Bouncing off this
ceilings, inside out.
inside out.
Dun, dun, dun,
Stranger
dun, to
to
this
the
feeling,
ceiling,
got
got
no
no
clue
clue
what I
what I
could
should
do.
do.
I'll go
I'd
crazy
go
if I
crazy if
can't
I can't get
stay.
next to you.
The crowd goes wild. Oh my God. So music. Okay. So here's how we're shifting our
So
vibration.
good.
Okay. We're
Yeah.
getting aware. Where am I at? Asking ourselves, what's going on here? Why am I feeling this way? How do I want to feel? So movement, taking a literal deep breath, tapping,
Mm,
easy,
I
quick.
love breathing. Like
You would
that's like
not
what I'm
believe how much
like.
breathing helps.
No, seriously. Make
Breathing.
sure you let your exhale is always longer than your inhale though.
Let's all do it right now together. Let's breathe in, really.
Ready? In one, two, three, four, five, six, and out. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Yay!
I
Like Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
that's I feel like Donnie like once a day when I get the zoomies.
I feel like the older sister a lot of the time, but like but like on like externally, but like
Yeah.
on the inside, there's like a Donnie just
Yeah.
like waiting to, yeah,
I think about I feel like that a lot. Or like the Tasmanian devil when I just want to like
yeah.
twirl her out. Um I this makes me think of when I went to this temple in Thailand when I was in Phuket. There's this big Buddha on a hill that you can see from almost everywhere. And I went up there and they had a meditation class and it was only like they kept doing
Mm,
it over and over. So it was only like 10 or 15 minutes, but it was free. You could sit down.
that's cool.
And at first, it was just this woman teaching it that she spoke some English, right? Not just some woman, but I say that because then another person came. So it was this woman at first, and she was so magical and calming, and she was, teaching in English. And then in wandered in this really old Buddhist monk. And I cannot tell you the feeling of being in the energy. I mean, it was like a wave like washed over you, like you're being baptized, but
Yeah.
it was just him like walking and sitting down. And they spoke to each other a little bit, but he didn't speak any English. But he kind of like that them together. He kind of like led the little meditation, but she would kind of interpret it. They did it
Yeah.
together. But then afterwards, we got like a little booklet about some Buddhist principles and stuff. But this, I just like we had me and this Buddhist monk had a moment because he like pointed to me, and so I was kind of like went like that, and then I like took a step over by him, and I kind of like said I was like thank you. I don't know how to say it, but I was just like thank you, and he like nodded his head, and then he like tapped me on the shoulder, and then he pointed at his nose, and he went like as he was like, you're not breathing and you need to breathe was the message.
Yeah.
And then the woman came over and he said something and she was like, breathing will fix all of your problems. And I was like, okay, I'm paraphrasing that. But basically he was like, you don't have to worry about anything if you would just breathe more. And I was like we think like,
Yeah.
oh, of course I'm breathing, but
No.
since that
If there's
day,
anything, yeah.
I just started my meditations are literally just 10 minutes of me counting my breath most days where I just do what we just did, like count in, count out. And it's just me
Hold, yeah.
counting over and over. And I like the counting thing because as a wandering mind myself, you're just focused on counting something for real. So you're not trying to like clear your mind or stay on a visualization. And I do both. I love a good guided meditation, but I found that my meditation started to feel even more powerful when I do that, where I'm literally just counting and breathing really deep for like, I'll set a 10-minute, I set an 11-minute, 11-second timer. But wow, just taking a single deep breath when you're feeling like crap and you're like, oh my God, what was I on about? I'm fine. And it's like all you had to do is take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Crazy. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's crazy. No, it really is. If there's anything that like having POTS has taught me is that like we're not
We're
breathing.
not.
We're not breathing. Like I thought, well, it is like an issue related to my like chronic illness, but like we have like air hunger where I always used to say like I feel like I'm not getting enough air. I feel
I've
like I'm not getting enough air.
It's 333
And
on my
like
clock
it's a
now.
big thing.
I have that too, but I don't know why. I've literally asked doctors about it because I'm like sometimes I feel like I can't breathe, but or like I forget to breathe and then I'm like gasping for breath and I'm like what is
Yeah.
that? And they were like, I don't know, but you seem fine. I was like, cool. I love going to the
Labs
doctors.
are normal. Yeah.
They're like, it's probably your
Yeah.
period. No.
Yeah. Have you yeah.
I just joke because anytime I go there, they're always like, well, probably your period. Like, I assure
Yeah.
you it's not.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. Always.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the best summary of how to work with the law of vibration is learning how to regulate your nervous system and making like feeling good your number one job, but in a playful way of like, how good can I feel? How good can this get? How can I
Yeah.
flirt with the universe and manifest fun, amazing experiences into my life? Because I'm just bubbling over with like love and positive, good feeling energy because I've chosen that and I'm like really like intentional about that. And I don't have to be that way. I'm not policing myself, but it's just like, why wouldn't I want to have
Yeah.
that more of the time? I think
Yeah.
that's really the summary of how I work with this law.
Yeah, I think it's important too on that to just be like the same way where like you're like if I only have enough energy to give 75% today, 50% today, and I
Mm-hmm.
give that 50%, then I gave 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So if I only have it in me right now to like feel 50% positive and I feel 50% positive,
Yeah.
great. You
Yeah.
did it. You did
Yeah.
it for that day.
You
And
did
then
it.
like it's you yeah, like it's the next day is a new day to try again kind of thing.
Exactly.
Um
And
so I
then
think that that is a big that's a big thing.
yeah. And then on the more like deeper level slash grander scale. So in the day to day, you want to use the law of vibration to feel good, right? To just fucking enjoy life as much as you possibly can on any given day with
Yeah.
what you have. On a
Yeah.
grander, deeper scale, the law of vibration and doing this day to day is going to naturally support this happening is shifting the identity. And when you hear, like manifestation teachers talking about you know, like living as if it's already done or acting from a place like that like when we do cast spells and stuff, right, we say and so it is done. So
Mm-hmm.
that piece of manifestation where it's like, okay, you need to live as the version of you who is already living that reality, that's like identifying with, okay, so you're manifesting like this dream job, so you're living from the belief that you deserve this job, you have this job, so that therefore, instead of being really, really scared and not doing anything, you feel the fear, but you're like, I'm the version of me who already has that job. So I'm gonna have the courage to act on this thing. I
Mm-hmm.
might not feel 100% confident, but I'm gonna start moving with more confidence because I'm starting to believe that that actually is possible for me now. So that's on the grander scale. The day to day is gonna support that. But the law of vibration is also tuning your frequency to identify with, millionaire you, identify with successful business owner you, or thriving artist you. And so that you, okay, let's say you want to sell your art on the internet. Okay, this is a fun example. Or like write your novel and publish it or something. But you
Yeah.
haven't taken action on that because you're scared, because you feel embarrassed and what will people think, and right? So when you start identifying with this version of you that's a thriving artist or a published author or whatever it is, you're that on the identity level, then that stuff, what other people think, doesn't actually matter that much anymore because you're already there, you're already doing it, right? And you have more confidence, courage, willingness to be uncomfortable when you start identifying with this version of you more, rather than the version of you who, oh, that, who am I to think I can do that? Who am I to go for that? Someone like me doesn't. So this is how the law of vibration, we want to turn our radio dial to the frequency of, yeah, I'm already living that life, so that we start taking action in different ways too. So that's the law of vibration on a grander scale. And you can use EFT tapping, spells, meditations, visualizations, all of these things to align your actions with those bigger things too. So the day to day, it's like feel good, feel regulated. And on the grander scale, believing like and identifying with those things that you desire for your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Woo! Seeing if I have any other notes. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We talked about like things, the stuff we talk about all the time are great tools
Mm-hmm.
to get regulated, to feel good, to manifest
Yeah.
those bigger things. So, yeah, just it's
Um,
all about becoming the version of you who receives these things and gets to live that life.
yeah. I think another quick way to help shift it, if you're like able to in the moment, is doing something creative. And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like good or
Yeah.
like crazy. Like my favorite thing to do is to like whip out a coloring book.
Mm-hmm.
I love a coloring book.
Love a coloring book.
Even things like that, I think can really help.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one other
Also,
thing
yeah,
that I
movement,
had.
going for a little
Or like
walk.
being in
Yeah.
nature. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Today I got really overwhelmed because I was like, oh my God, I have so much to do. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go take a 20-minute walk, because the reality of the situation is I do have 20 minutes to go for a walk. I'm going to put my feet in the sand and my toes in the ocean. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm not
It's
running out of time.
fine.
I literally have way more than time than I need to do these things, but I just was like, uh, you know?
Yeah.
So there you go, right there. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
noticing that I'm in overwhelm, and I'm like, my awareness went, you don't need to be, so let's pause this and go
Yeah.
regulate. And then I felt so much better. And instead of being frozen and not getting anything done, I just started doing stuff when I got back and I felt way better. So it's a good
Yeah.
example.
Again, yes. You're never ever stuck
No.
in a specific vibration.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Just
Yeah.
reviewing my notes some more, but
That's it.
we did it. We did it. Let us know your favorite ways to shift your vibration
Yeah.
and
And your favorite
song, right?
yeah, song.
So we can make a playlist for all of us to listen to.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. So, Sadie, take it away.
All
Where
right.
can you find us?
You can find Giggly Witches at Giggly Witches on everything: YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. We're there. We're hanging out. We love to hear from you. So leave a review, drop a comment, send us a DM. Make sure you're subscribed where you listen. And the best thing you can do is share an episode you really loved with a friend and help us spread the word on the fun that we get to have on Giggly Witches. We also love hearing topic requests from you. So shout out to the listeners that have given us those. And our episodes come out every Thursday. You can find me, Sadie, at I am Sadie Olson on Instagram and TikTok. I hang out on Instagram the most, just my favorite place to be. I also have a YouTube channel, Magic with Sadie, that has great guided EFT tappings, great way to shift your energy. They're all like around 8 minutes or less. They're great for quickie little energy shift. I've been doing readings lately and amazing private coaching with a lot of creatives. I have a client that I recently wrapped up with that finished her pilot for her TV show and is getting that off the ground. I've had two clients working on novels. One just got picked up, is officially getting published, which is fucking crazy.
Very exciting.
And all sorts of just people starting businesses, getting these creative projects off the ground. It's so, so cool and rewarding. And what we do is we work through the fear, the shame, the worrying about judgment and what other people think, and getting these projects in motion, working through all of that so you can move forward with confidence and get this shit done. And it's just really amazing and fun to see these cool things coming to life. So I'm accepting private clients right now. If you want to learn more, send me a DM or you can email me hello@iamsadieolson.com. But all my links are in the show notes. I also have a free scripting guide, which is what I have used for, I think, 6 years now to change my life in beautiful, amazing ways again and again. And I give you the step-by-step of my signature way of doing it in that free guide. So go download that. Pam, what do you got going
Yay.
on?
I am Velvet Snake Oracle on TikTok and Instagram. I am starting a YouTube as well, so you can find me on YouTube at Velvet Snake Oracle. Um, Honestly, same kind of vibe. Spell work and EFT tappings and some other things that I'm brewing up, I think, on YouTube. I'm excited about. But other than that, I also kind of hang out on Instagram the most. I think it's more community oriented and I like that. But you can find some really good reposts on TikTok because they're really funny that I share. So you can follow me there and laugh at all the videos that I also laugh at. But other than that, I've got my Veil Walker psychic mediumship sessions. Those have been really, really fun and really rewarding. I love connecting you with your past loved ones, with your spirit team. But the thing that I am, I think, the most excited about are my death and rebirth readings. I've been having a lot of fun doing these. Sometimes it sounds weird, I think, when I say a lot of fun because we're like working through some stuff, but I enjoy it. So I have two options. I've honestly been considering dropping the tarot only one because I think the energy healing one is just like the most beneficial thing. So if you would like the tarot only, I would get in now before it disappears and I only do the energy healing. But I also would suggest doing the energy healing because it's fantastic. Not to toot my own horn, but beep beep.
Beep, beep.
So basically we really dive in to what needs to be let go, what needs to be, death killed off, and so that we can have you like reborn. The energy healing sessions, we do a whole tarot reading, uncover what needs to be let go of, all these really cool fun things, and then we go through a higher self visualization where like you meet the version of yourself that is like come out on the other side of this. We do an EFT tapping to shed any like people pleasing that's holding you back on this, or self-limiting beliefs on like worthiness or perfectionism, or just like expressing yourself authentically. And then at the end, we do an energy healing where I help pull out any like stickiness or like stuck old energy that is like holding you back from truly expressing yourself. fully, authentically, liberatedly.
Liberatedly. I love it.
Yeah. So those I'm really, really excited about. Those are my like favorite things to do right now. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yay. Well, stay giggly, witches. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.